Hey guys, I'm excited to start this playlist for all of my recipes. The one that I'm going to be going over today is shrimp tacos. I guess mine ended up turning into just a burrito because I used just one large burrito. Obviously, if you're trying to do low or lower carb than this is, you can either not do the rice and substitute the rice for other vegetables, like a stir fry, or you could choose to just not use a tortilla and eat it in a bowl because it's just as delicious by itself. Because I ended up having too much shrimp to fill one tortilla, so I had half of it by itself. It's really good. It's made with protein powder. It's high protein, lower fat, and lower carb than if you were to do it regularly. It cuts the fat and carbs by. So go ahead and follow along. What I put on this is pretty much just rice, shrimp, and Cajun cream sauce that I made, and it is so good. If anything, you can make the cream sauce and some shrimp and just dip the shrimp into the cream sauce. Like I said, it's low fat, which is fantastic. It's hard to find that, and it's made with protein powder, so it has extra protein. I hope that you guys like it. Alright, so I've clearly started cooking. The first thing that I started cooking was the rice-a-roni. This is mine, and this is Nate's. Clearly, I have a lot less. And instead of using actual butter to brown it, I use this 0-calorie spray butter. So right now it's just browning. Then we're going to put the water and the seasoning. If you need this to be lower carb, don't do the rice. Alright, so right here I have large deveined pre-cooked shrimp. This is 6 ounces. I already measured it on my nice little scale. This is 1 tablespoon of light butter, so there's 4 grams of fat in this. Alright, this is the butter that I use. It is the lowest fat butter that I can find. I really like it. It tastes the same. I'm going to put this is what we are. Anyone know why it's separated? What is that? I don't even know what that is, so we're going to use all of it. That's fun. Alright, so that was 4 grams of fat. Now for seasonings. Anela, give me my seasoning. Alright, living with a 2-year-old, Anela took my Cajun seasoning and dumped almost all of it out. So we're going to have to use the rest of it. So this is my Cajun seasoning. I really like spicy shrimp. Use all of it. And lastly, I've got fresh chopped garlic. And then you're just gonna let it cook. You're gonna toss it and coat it for about 8 to 10 minutes. At that point, you're done with the shrimp and ready to move on to the sauce. Alright, so I've got my butter in my pan and it's starting to melt. How you would normally make a cream sauce like this is you would do butter, mix some flour in to make it thick, pour in the milk, put in your cheese, and then put in your seasonings. So we're gonna do the same thing, but with substitutes to make it healthier. So this is low-fat butter, 1 tablespoon, because it's only for me. Obviously, if you're making it for an entire family, you can double the recipe, triple the recipe, whatever. So you put in a little bit and then you whisk it. This is the protein I use for all of my baking, everything. I always use Quest. I love it because it's low carb, low fat. So this particular protein has 0 fat, 1 gram of carbs, and 24 grams of protein per scoop. Okay. And look, that thickened up so well, like it does with flour. So I'm going to take it off the heat. Now we've got almond milk. My almond milk happens to be vanilla. I think that this recipe would do better with the original tasting almond milk, but you can use vanilla. I'm going to do 1/4 cup of almond milk. First, we're going to start with 1/8 of a cup. Okay, now we're going to add the rest. And actually, let's be honest, that's kind of thick to be the base because we're going to be adding cheese and that's also going to thicken it. So I am going, instead of putting more almond milk, I'm going to put just a little bit of water. Next, I'm going to be putting garlic in it. The garlic is obviously going to take some of the sweetness out. This almond milk, by the way, I believe is vanilla. I would highly suggest not using vanilla and using original.
Lime juice. And lemon juice.
I'm allowed, here's my reduced fat cheese. I'm allowed a 1/4 cup of cheese. That's probably less than a 1/4 cup, but we're gonna put that in first and let that heat up. This is gonna make it super thick, like that. That's beautiful. Cheesy. If it's too thick for your liking, add 1 tablespoon of water at a time until it's a consistency that you like. I'm gonna take it off the heat for a second so I can add all of my spices. Garlic salt. Old Bay, just a little bit. Nate is home bringing up Cajun because we ran out of Cajun. Got garlic and onion powder. I forgot to tape it, but I put Cajun seasoning in next when Nate got home. Put as much of it as you like for as spicy as you want it.
Mom.
Voila. So I have my tortilla with my sauce. I put on my rice-a-roni. And lastly, I put on all of my shrimp. Not all of it fit though. Here are the macros. That includes the Cajun sauce, 6 ounces of shrimp, pre-cooked shrimp, and 1 low-carb tortilla. Like I said, my tortillas have 17 grams of carbs. So if you have something else, a pita bread that's less, obviously factor that in. But here's the macros for everything all together. If you were to substitute the rice for either more shrimp or vegetables, that would take away 20 carbs right there. And if you were to use either no tortilla or a different kind of bread, then obviously you would subtract the 17 carbs. So it's really easy to make this even lower carb. The macros for the sauce alone are 9 grams of fat, 4 grams of carbs, and 14 grams of protein, which is really good for just a sauce. If you were to make this recipe with the normal ingredients for the sauce and a normal tortilla, it jumps up for the total of the meal to be 45 grams of fat, 92 grams of carbs, and 30 grams of protein. So it's easy to say that this recipe is much healthier.